ChatGPT came out back in November of 2022, and it's gone through so many changes over the years. So in this one video, I wanted to show you every single feature that ChatGPT has so you could get the most out of it. Let's jump in. This video is brought to you by HubSpot. More on that in a bit. So you could use ChatGPT at chatgpt.com, and you could also download the mobile app for iOS and Android. They also have apps for Mac and PC too. Okay, you could use ChatGPT for free, and you could upgrade to the paid version, which we'll cover in this video too. So the very first thing I wanted to show you is with the free ChatGPT account that I'm using right now. And if you go to chatgpt.com, make sure you create that free account. If you don't log in and you just use it without logging in, you won't have a lot of the things I'm gonna show you, including your chat history and some of these other options in the free account. Okay, the very first thing I wanted to show you is inside the free account. And if you click on ChatGPT, you'll see two options right here. One of them is just called ChatGPT, and one is called ChatGPT Plus. We're gonna upgrade a little bit later in this video to this one. This is gonna be $20 a month, and it's gonna unlock a whole lot of new things. So for the very first one, I wanted to just mention this version of ChatGPT that I'm gonna use right now. In the background, ChatGPT is powered by different AI models. For example, the free version that I'm showing you here, this one, is powered by an AI called GPT-4o Mini right now. So if you've always used a free one and you don't see a reason to upgrade to the paid one, I'll show you once you upgrade to a paid one, you get other smart AI models that become unlocked by upgrading and paying the $20 a month. So that's the very first thing I wanted to show you, that there's a free ChatGPT. It's good, but for smarter models, you want to upgrade to this Plus one and pay the monthly fee. Okay, the second thing I wanted to show you is right here. This is what's called a prompt box. This is where you ask ChatGPT a question or give it a request. So for example, I could type write the history of ChatGPT, and I could go ahead and send this out, and ChatGPT will go to work here in the free account, and it will kind of write me this nice blog post. Whatever you put inside of this box right here is called your prompt, and I'm gonna give you a full prompting crash course shortly to explain exactly how you would put in this prompt in the way that ChatGPT wants to be talked to. That actually makes a big difference on the type of responses that you get. So down here in this prompt box, you could always do follow-up prompts, which means you're just asking ChatGPT to refine its answer. So I said, give this to me in 3 bullet points instead of that long blog format. And here's a version of it in 3 bullet points. The next thing I wanted to show you is one of the best ways that you could use ChatGPT, and it's this plus option right here. If you press plus, you could actually upload different documents from your computer. Now, you could always connect it to your Google Drive and bring in documents directly from there. Or if you use Microsoft OneDrive, you could always bring files like Word docs and things like that into the chat. In this one, I'm just gonna upload a file from my computer, and you could upload all kinds of different files. For this step, I'm gonna show you basic file upload, which would be like a Word doc. So for example, if I wanted this Word doc, I could go ahead and upload this one, or like a PDF document would work too. And I could give it a prompt. For example, recap this in a single paragraph. And this way you could have a chat with your own documents. You could actually upload 10 different documents at the same time and then get it to analyze those documents with any of these follow-up prompts. Number 4 is you could actually input an image and analyze an existing image. This is called ChatGPT Vision Mode, where you could see what's inside of an image. So I'll give you an example. I'm gonna upload from my computer again, and I'm gonna upload this image where I can't even figure out what this is about, right? So I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT, explain this to me. Okay, historical timeline charts. Here's the purpose for the chart: to show you the growth of civilizations and empires over time from 2050 AD to 1100 AD. And here's more details about that one, right? And I'm using the free version right now. The paid version actually has much more in-depth analysis with this vision mode here, but you could do this with graphs, you could do this with numbers, you could do this with any type of an image basically. Okay, next on our list is voice input and voice output. So right over here in my chat box, you'll see this 2 option right here. So dictate. If you click this, it will get access to your microphone and it will listen to everything you're saying. And if you press the check mark, you could type out your prompts by speaking your prompts instead of typing them, right? So this just listened to everything I said, and then I could send that out as my prompt. The other option is right over here, you could use the voice mode where you could actually have it read things back to you and then also have a back and forth voice conversation. So I'll go ahead and activate this. Now there's something called advanced voice mode. So depending on when you're watching this, that might be part of the paid upgrade. I could use this right now for free. And then you could pick your voice.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. I'm excited to help you get things done.
Hey, what exactly is ChatGPT?
Hey, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence developed by OpenAI. It's designed to understand and generate human-like text based on the input it receives. You can ask it questions, have conversations, or get help with various tasks like writing, learning, or brainstorming ideas.
Okay, what's a good way to ask it to help me brainstorm an idea?
You can simply start by saying something like, "Hey, can you help me brainstorm some ideas for your topic?"
So that's voice mode, and it dictates in text format your back and forth conversation, so you could refer to it too. Now you could also generate images inside of ChatGPT, and all you have to say is create an image and then explain exactly what you want an image of with as much detail as possible. Now on the free account, this may take some time and it is very limited, sometimes only 2-3 images per day, depending on how busy they are. And this is one of the main reasons people upgrade their accounts if you are using this for image generation. But look at the quality of this image, it's incredible. And you could literally download it right on top by pressing the save icon, downloads it directly to your computer. And as part of this image generation, you could upload an image, like I'm uploading this image that I took from my iPhone right here by pressing the plus sign and uploading it from my computer, and give it a follow-up prompt. So for example, I said, turn this to an Instagram ad that says Meta Ray-Bans with the Meta logo and make the background more techie. And I could send this out. Okay, look at that. Here's the before, simple 2-sentence prompt, and here is the after, and I could download it directly from here. Now, before we get to the next one, let's talk about prompting ChatGPT. Basically, any instruction you put in this box is your prompt. Now, the way you write this prompt really actually makes a difference if you want a great response the first time around out of ChatGPT. Now, I actually have a free resource to help you out with this. HubSpot gave me a 38-page ebook that's basically a full-on ChatGPT masterclass. Okay, I'm gonna jump right here to page 26, and right here, the anatomy of a great prompt. So let me break this down for you. And I typically use this by habit now that I've been using ChatGPT for a few years. Now here's the first part, context. Provide relevant background information to help ChatGPT understand the scenario. That's how you start a prompt. So instead of saying, help me write an email, you wanna say, I'm writing an email to a client to confirm a project meeting. The tone should be professional, but approachable, right? So you're given a lot of background on what you're looking to get. And then you explain the task. Clearly specify what you want ChatGPT to do. So summarize the text in bullet point or draft a 2-paragraph introduction for my presentation. And then the third part is any details or any constraints you want it to have. So the length and the style. Rewrite this paragraph in casual tone. Keep it under 100 words. And they have a bunch more examples of what makes a good prompt, what makes a bad prompt. They have some advanced prompting techniques. And again, this is 38 pages, so I thought it was a perfect companion for this video if you're serious about getting the most out of ChatGPT. And I recommend you grab the ebook because it's free. I'll drop the link in the description of this video, and thanks for HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Okay, the next one is basic memory. When you're having a chat with ChatGPT, it tries to remember everything within that chat up to a certain point, but it has other memories beyond that. So for example, if I click my profile option up top, and if I go to settings right here, there's a lot of stuff here, but the first one I wanted to show you is under personalization right here. And it's right here, memory. Reference saved memories. Let ChatGPT save and use memories when responding, and you could go ahead and turn this on. So when you do this, you could say things like this. Remember that my company is called Skillleap. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and send this out, and this is gonna store it to its long-term memory. And you can see right here, it saved that to memory. And if I go to manage memory right here, I could see all kinds of different things that is saved to its long-term memory. So its short-term memory is what's happening inside of a text conversation in one conversation, but long-term memory, it will remember that in every conversation as long as you have that turned on. And there's another option with the paid plans once we get to that point where you could actually have ChatGPT make references to all your old chats. So it will have this long-term memory plus reference your old chats, which I will show you too. Which brings us to the next point, which is accessing our chat history. So to do that, we just press this right here. This opens up this side panel, and every conversation we had with ChatGPT will show up here on the left side. So if I wanted to go back to that Meta Ray-Ban option right here, I could go back to it right here, and then I could have a follow-up chat with it to maybe revise it. Maybe I showed this to my boss, they didn't like it, and I need to do a follow-up here, so I could always do that. Which also shows us this option right here, which is search. You could always search Meta Ray-Ban here, and it will pull that chat up right here. which is extremely useful. For some reason, ChatGPT's website did not have the search option for like the first 2 years of being released. Okay, the next one is really powerful. It's called custom instructions. So if I go to my profile picture here, I could customize ChatGPT by clicking this right here. Now, with custom instructions, you could decide what should ChatGPT call you. So you could put your name here. What do you do? Now, what traits should ChatGPT have? So for example, you could say, always talk to me in a friendly tone or formal tone. You could ask it to have an opinion of its own. You could ask it to just answer you in the shortest amount of words possible. Anything you type here trains ChatGPT in the background to always answer you a certain way. So this is very important right here. And it gives you some options over here. So for example, straight shooting. This is one of my favorites. Tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat your responses. And then here you could tell ChatGPT everything you should know about you. So you could tell it, I like this. I'm trying to learn coding. I'm trying to grow my company. And right here, make sure you always enable this in a new chat. So it actually makes a reference to this, but you can't always turn this off if you don't want it to use this when it's having a conversation with you. Okay, next on our list is web browsing. Right over here is the search option. So when ChatGPT got released, it actually had internal data and it will use that to answer your questions. It could not go and search the web. Well, now it can do that. This lets you search the web. They have a partnership with Bing, so it uses Bing search to go ahead and do that. So I could say something like compare the new iPhones and give it to me in table format. With search turned on, it will go and search for the latest information and retrieve that information and format it nicely for me. So without doing search, it wouldn't be able to do that. It will just use this internal training data, which is usually a little bit delayed than what a live search could get you. So here I got something much more usable, up to date using web browsing. Now the next one is this reason mode right here. So it says think before it responds. So here, based on what you know about me, should I get a Mac or a PC? So it will try to reason and not just give you a very quick answer like it typically does. So you could see right here, it says thinking. These ChatGPT reasoning modes are very powerful. I'm gonna show you some more advanced ones with the paid plan. Okay, it says MacBook Pro or Mac Studio with serverUS, which is exactly the two computers I have right now. Okay, next I wanna show you this canvas mode. If you press these 3 dots, the canvas mode will actually write things a different way. So write a blog post about the history of the Roman Empire. If I send this out, you'll see because canvas is turned on, it turns on a whole different mode that looks completely different, okay? This is really great for any type of writing when you want nice formatting. You could, again, on the left side, give it any type of follow-up prompt just like you would with ChatGPT. But this also makes it really easy to copy and retain formatting. And you could go ahead and share this and it creates a link. So let me create this link for you to show you. When you share this, you could share it publicly. I'll go ahead and open up a new tab and I'll share it. And it looks exactly like this, which is a great way to share it this way. And someone else could edit it with their ChatGPT account. And if you press this edit option here, you could get it to suggest edits for you. You could adjust the length with one click to this way will make it longer. This way will make it shorter. And you also could ask for a final polish or add emojis, which kind of gets a little bit carried away. But let's look at that option right here. Add emojis to words. Okay, you could see now it's going through and adding emojis if you like things with a lot of emojis. But these are really, really handy when it comes to any type of writing. It's also really good for coding too. This canvas option gets turned on when you are coding with ChatGPT. Now, the next one is this temporary mode right here. If you turn this on, it brings ChatGPT into temporary mode where it deactivates ChatGPT's memory. It will not appear in your history, which I showed you on the left side, and it won't be used to train its model. So the free version of ChatGPT by default, every time you talk to it and every time you use ChatGPT, they use it to improve their models. That's why they make it available for free. The paid versions have a way to opt out of that. But if you use temporary chat, it won't do that. So it's nice to do that if you don't want any of your history or any of your previous conversations to impact this chat. Now, with the free accounts, if you click this right here, the sidebar, you also get this GPTs. It says Explore GPTs. This is where there is customized version of ChatGPT that are trained to do something very specific. So for example, if I go through it, this one is designed just to generate images. Canva is designed just for graphics. This one, for example, is just for logo creators, okay? So you could use these. They work just like ChatGPT. I could start a new chat, but they're trained to do exactly that task very well. With the paid accounts, you could always make those too. I'll show you that when we get to the paid accounts. With the free account, you could just use them, but you can't make your own. Now for this next section, we're gonna upgrade to the paid version of ChatGPT, which starts at $20 a month. And this is gonna unlock some things that we did not have in the free plan. And then at the end of the video, we're also gonna upgrade to this pro plan. This is $200 a month, unlocks even more things. Now, very few people are gonna need this one, but I just wanna show you what's available since I have this account as well. Now, they also have a Teams plan, an enterprise plan, and even an education plan. The Teams plan is very much like the Plus plan, so I'm gonna show you that here too, and it's gonna have the same option as the Plus plan. Now, once you upgrade to a paid account, the first thing I wanted to show you is if you click this drop down right here, you'll see all kinds of new things that we did not have before, right? Before we had ChatGPT and upgrading ChatGPT. But now we see all kinds of different things. So what are these exactly? Well, as I mentioned, ChatGPT in the background has different models that drive it. So the free version, for example, used something called GPT-4o Mini. This gave you faster responses. It was good, but it's part of the free plan. This paid version gets you access to GPT-4o. This is great for most questions. 90% of the time, I just use this one. And they're going to go to ChatGPT 5, which is going to replace this one. So if you see this a little bit later, this menu will most likely have changed. But as I'm recording this, this is the one I use almost all the time. Then you have GPT-4o with scheduled tasks. What this does is it actually sends you reminders via email if you set it to remind you of something. So let's say 8 o'clock every morning, you want the stock news, it will email you that. GPT-4.5, this is the newer version that they've added now, still in a preview mode, but this is good for writing. But again, most of the time I still use 4o. Now you have these three models right here that are good at reasoning. I showed you a little bit of reasoning with the free plan. This lets you take reasoning to a whole new level and choose different models. Again, it could get a little bit confusing, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but pretty much this is the very best model you could get right now for reasoning. O4 Mini High. For most use cases, you'll use one of these here when you need reasoning. And as I said, 90% of the time, you'll just stick to this one. So you won't have to go to this drop down right over here. But those are called models, and you could learn more about what models do and the different models they have available depending on when you're watching this by just pressing that information icon. So the next thing I wanted to show you is advanced reasoning with the paid plan. So if you click this, I'm gonna show you O4 Mini. And by the time you click this drop down, nothing changes over here, but it will use a different model that is good at reasoning in the background and is much better than the free version of the reasoning model. And we'll use this world image again. And this time we're gonna ask ChatGPT to go ahead and analyze it. It will use this reasoning to do a much better job. So for a more complicated task, it will interpret these images. It has the vision capabilities. And it could also combine reasoning with the image generation. So I'm gonna do all of that in this prompt. So I'm gonna say create a graphic from this image that's a little bit easier to read, and I'll send this out. And here's the result that it gave us here. So it created this graphic here. So what it does is it uses his reasoning, which is when it thinks in the background before it responds to you, it takes its time. It's not for quick answers. It analyzed this thing that a human would really have a hard time figuring out what's going on. And it created a graph here that's a lot better and easy to see across that same period of time. And it gave us some notes here. So when it comes to things where you don't need a quick answer, but you need a well thought out answer, these reasoning models in the paid version come in really, really handy. Now I'm gonna use the regular ChatGPT here, and I wanna show you this option called Code Interpreter. So it could actually write itself code in the background to analyze information. So I'm gonna use this data file here, and I'm gonna have it analyze it. I'm gonna say, what is this data set? Show it to me as a graph here. And it creates this nice visual here, by the way, that you could open up the table and you could ask it to make different changes here to the table. So data analysis, really handy looking at it this way. And you can see right here, it says analyzing. If I open this up, it writes this Python code in the background that you don't need to worry about, but this is called Code Interpreter. What's happening in the background to analyze any type of data or text documentation and visualize it really easily like this. And you could look at it this way too with this little nice animation here. You could open it up this way and I could go ahead and have a conversation with it on the right side here to dive deeper into this data. Okay, the next one I wanted to show you, and it's the reason why I first upgraded to a paid version of ChatGPT. They have something over here on the left side when you go to explore GPTs that I showed you. This is all kinds of custom versions, mini versions of ChatGPT for specific tasks. But when you do have the paid version, you could create your own by pressing this option right on top. And you could have a conversation with it right here under the Create tab and tell it exactly what you want to build. For example, I have one that is designed just to help me come up with the best YouTube titles. I trained it with my own set of information of what I think makes a really good YouTube title, and now it knows how to do it for me automatically. I have one for Facebook ads. I have one for business SOPs. And what it does is it names itself, it gives itself a description. This is where the instructions go. And then you could actually give it the capabilities that ChatGPT has. So for example, that code interpreter I showed you, or data analysis, you could go ahead and turn that on if it requires it to do that. Now, I have an entire video and we have an entire course dedicated to building custom GPTs. This portion would take 20 minutes just to show you how to build your first one, but it is extremely powerful because once you create yours, you could literally go back to it and do something very specific and very repeatable every single time, rather than using a broad version of ChatGPT. And if you have the Teams plan, which I have here, you could share those custom GPTs internally with the team instead of making it publicly available or keeping it private. There's multiple ways you could share those GPTs depending on which plans you have. Now, one of the best things inside of the paid version of ChatGPT is right here, deep research. And even with the free version, it's pretty limited on how many you could use, okay? But it's one of the most powerful ways to do any kind of search where you want to spend maybe 5-10 minutes and have ChatGPT look into dozens of websites for you on a specific topic. So for example, I could ask ChatGPT, how do I grow a YouTube channel? And it's going to give me an answer pretty quickly. I could use search and it will find some stuff online to tell me how to do that. But if I turn on deep research, it actually does something entirely different. It will do a deep dive search. It will first ask me some questions here to do that. Okay, in this case, it took about 12 minutes and you could see all the different activity, all the different sources it went through. You could see all the sources here. It went through about 20 different sources, which are different websites here. And then when it's done, it writes an entire presentation here. And it's extremely detailed. It's nothing else like you get out of ChatGPT's regular chats or search. Right? You can see I'm still scrolling here. And next to each one, it also gives you sources so you can see where you got that information from if you want to read more about a very specific topic. One of my favorite ways to use AI is using deep research inside of ChatGPT. Now, the next one I want to show you is data control. So if you click your profile icon with a paid plan, and if you go to settings here, under data control, this is very important. Improve the model for everyone. If you're using this for work, which a lot of people use this for work, you want to make sure you keep this off. When you have a Teams plan, which I have right here, it's disabled by default, so it won't use that information to train its model. With the free plan, it will do that. So this is one of the main reasons a lot of people upgrade when you're using ChatGPT for work. You could always change how you share links too. So any shared links will appear over here and you could go ahead and delete them, and you have a lot more control over permission of shared links, and you have better security options too with the paid plans available in your settings. Now, another option with the paid plan, over here on the left panel, you have something called ChatGPT projects. So if you press the plus sign here, you could create projects. Now, projects are kind of similar to custom GPTs where you design them for a very specific task. So let's say I wanted to create ads for my company. I could create a project for that. I could go ahead and add any files, like any type of internal data that we have, to this specific project. And I could click here and add a very specific instruction on how I want this project to behave, right? This is kind of like the custom instructions that I talked about when you train ChatGPT. At the account level, this would only be dedicated to this very specific use case. This also has access to search, it has access to Canvas, and you could upload files this way to it in addition to creating a knowledge base using this option here. Now, I'll show you a very interesting option inside of the Teams plan. I'm gonna go to settings again, and they have this right here, connected apps. They have something called internal knowledge. Connect these data sources to ChatGPT so it will surface relevant personalized information based on what you authorize to view, and you could connect your entire Google Drive this way. This is different than pulling in files directly from your Google Drive one at a time to analyze. This just opens up Google Drive as your entire knowledge base. Makes ChatGPT a whole lot more useful in addition to its own memory that it has based on previous conversations. Now, let me show you some things inside of the ChatGPT Pro account, which is $200 a month. So why would you upgrade? Well, With the Pro account, you get unlimited access to all these advanced ChatGPT models. Now, with the other paid plans, you will hit a limit in just about everything you do inside of ChatGPT, but these advanced reasoning models, all these models become unlimited inside of the $200 plan. And deep research is still limited inside of the $200 plan, but you get a whole lot more of them. Right now, I get 118. I think I was getting like 10 or 11 with the Teams plan at $30 a month. Now, initially, they also had something called O1 Pro. They had a model that was the best model, only available to this $200 plan. It looks like this is going away right now, so they'll probably introduce some kind of a Pro model by the time you're watching this that is only available inside of this plan. Now, the advanced voice mode that I showed you that was available in the free plan right now will only most likely be available in the paid plans, but you get a lot more access here with the Pro plan. So it will unlock a whole lot of things. I use this on my phone all the time, and it is very limited inside of the other plans. They usually cap out like 30 minutes a day of usage. But a lot of times you could have back and forth brainstorming with ChatGPT or ideation that may take longer. Now, when it comes to memory, if you go to personalization, you have two different options when it comes to this model, and this will come out to the other paid version of ChatGPT soon. But right now, I have this option that I could turn off. Reference chat history, let ChatGPT reference all previous conversations when responding. This is different than its long-term memory. So you get two different ways to turn things on or off. Right now, I only have this in my Pro plan, but they did mention this will come to other plans too, where you have control if it references all your old chat history or just the long saved memories that you could manage. Here, you could actually turn things on or off here or delete them entirely. Where in this one, it will reference your entire chat history by default. You don't have to do anything to do that. Now, the most powerful things inside of the Pro plan are these two, Operator and Sora. So Operator gives control to ChatGPT to go do things for you. It's an AI agent. It will go look on websites. It'll try to create plans for you for your travel. I'll show you what this page looks like right here. So for example, book a spot at a restaurant with a great happy hour for next Wednesday. If you click this, it will literally go and try to do those things for you. This will literally go to the website itself. It will try to do all the things that you told it to do on its own. Okay, and you could take control anytime if it gets stuck, right? This is still in beta right now, but this could be an extremely powerful thing, only available in the Pro plan. And you also have access to Sora with ChatGPT's Pro plan, where you could basically turn a text prompt into these type of videos. If I click on here, I could see the exact prompt they used. In this case, they used an image as a prompt, which you could also inside of Sora create, and then have it create something that looks like this. And I got a whole bunch of them that I've created. I'll show you one right here. A person types on a laptop in a cozy cafe, right? You get this kind of a look out of Sora, and you have all kinds of editing options. I have different Sora videos here if you want to dive deeper into Sora. Now, I think I covered everything, and I do make new videos every time ChatGPT has a useful update. Make sure you grab the free ChatGPT ebook that HubSpot provided in the description below the video. And if you want more help with prompting, I also recently released a ChatGPT prompting course. It's for complete beginners that are trying to get into prompting, shows you everything you need to know to craft a perfect prompt and get most out of ChatGPT. Now it's currently available inside our free 7-day trial on SkillLeap. I'll link that below as well. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. I'll see you next time.